Super Mayhem.
Hello friends, Tim here again with another quick video game countdown type thing. Having a good villain is a necessity not just for video games, but for all forms of entertainment. Without an interesting foe or constant threat, there's not much need to progress through a story, and video games have featured a large number of incredible enemies in the past. It's difficult to name all of these amazing antagonists in just one list, and there are many iconic, creepy, powerful and demented villains out there which aren't included in this top 10 today. But nevertheless, here are 10 of the greatest antagonists in gaming history. Number 10. Dysentery, The Oregon Trail. The Oregon Trail is a classic video game which was originally released in 1971, but various versions have since been re-released over the years. This iconic video game sends players on a dangerous journey filled with many potential ways to die, but none was more frustrating than dysentery. "You have died of dysentery" is now a popular phrase outside the game, mostly due to the fact that it's easy to catch in the game and there was no cure for it. There is no way to avoid this unusual antagonist, and it's one of the most iconic villains in gaming history. Number 9. Slender Man, Slender the Arrival. There are a few stories that haunt us outside of their form of media, but the story of Slender Man has reached far beyond the games. He was first created as a creepypasta story, and a game later developed for him, but it was the second game that gave him more depth and brought his story closer to gamers. While other villains on this list have elements about them which make them much more interesting, there are a few others that have been mentioned in relation to a crime. In 2014, two young girls stabbed another girl under the belief that they would become Slender Man proxies if they proved their loyalty to him. Number 8. Vaas Montenegro, Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 was released in 2012, and the antagonist Vaas Montenegro is often thought of as being the best video game character from that year. Vaas is a ruthless, insane man who deals with kidnapping, drugs, human trafficking, and is more than happy to murder people. He switches between personalities in a terrifying fashion, and isn't even the main villain for the entire game. Vaas is certainly memorable, and he cuts to the chase very quickly. Number 7. Zachary Comstock, BioShock Infinite. While he may not be the best villain, he is one of the most interesting to ever exist and was very well written. The story of Zachary Comstock is filled with twists and turns that show there is more to this man than the religious cult leader that he seems to be. He's involved in some very twisted things, and leads the extremist religious group seen in the game which rules the city. Religion is a topic often avoided by developers, but including this in BioShock Infinite has led to the creation of one of the most interesting villains ever designed. Number 6. Handsome Jack, Borderlands 2. His hilarious but evil antics make Handsome Jack one of the most entertaining villains around, and he's easy to love despite him constantly trying to kill the player. With one of the best personalities around, Handsome Jack is in charge of the Hyperion Corporation, and also a geostationary moon base, which includes various weapons that he uses to kill Vault Hunters, and just about anyone else he doesn't like. Number 5. Kefka, Final Fantasy VI. For Final Fantasy fans, there are two villains that stand out above all others, but one in particular is unique. Kefka is also known as the Psycho Clown, for his sociopath-like beliefs, twisted personality, and his high levels of cruelty. He comes across as being devoid of empathy, and his chase for power pushes his abilities to terrifying levels, as Kefka triggers the apocalypse. Number 4. Bowser, Mario series. Bowser is one of those villains that's easy for fans to love despite his strange obsession and constant kidnapping of Princess Peach. He's almost achieved total universe domination in Super Mario Galaxy, transformed kings into monsters, stolen the treasure of the Sprixie Kingdom, and he has also captured the Mario Brothers. His long legacy is filled with fan theories, and some suggest that he might not even be a villain, but to most gamers, Bowser is one of the most iconic and popular video game villains of all time. Number 3. Origami Killer, Heavy Rain. The Origami Killer abducts and murders young boys while dangling hope in front of their parents' faces, to force them to complete dangerous trials. He kidnaps the children in broad daylight, and his trials can force players to their moral limits, and question just how far they're willing to go to save someone they love. As expected, the murderer has a rather dark past, which only makes him one of the more interesting and relatively realistic characters on this list. Number 2. Ganondorf, Legend of Zelda. Ganondorf may well be the most powerful villain in the Nintendo universe, and has much more ambitious plans than Bowser ever seems to have. The Dark Lord travels through time, kidnaps Princess Zelda, and his eyes are set on taking control of Hyrule. Only a small portion of the Triforce can make him almost immortal, but he still seeks its full strength and very little stands in his path.
Number 1.
GLaDOS, Portal series. This malevolent AI is what makes the single player campaign so entertaining, and GLaDOS is part of the reason why the games are so popular in the first place. She throws the player into her testing facilities and spends the game berating and insulting the player the entire time. Her highly entertaining personality, sarcasm, and incredible dialogue lines make her one of the most entertaining characters to ever exist in gaming.